This podcast is intended for educational purposes only. For more information and our full disclosure, please visit ncmidwifery.com and our podcast page. Well, welcome back to season 2 of More About Birth. Very excited to be here once again with our hosts, Shannon Bennett and Angie Hansen. Hey, ladies.
What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Angie.
Is it time to start?
Yes.
Sorry.
What's with the sunglasses?
Well, you know, it's just end of summer and I just feel like I'm sitting in my trailer here waiting for the cameras to roll.
You don't own a trailer? You don't own a trailer.
Hey, we've always talked about it.
What trailer?
True. Well,
Our
we keep
trailer.
talking about this midwife trailer, but seriously, guys, welcome back to season 2. It's the end of summer, getting ready to go into our fall season. We had a much needed break, and it has been crazy. Let's ditch this sign. So, it's been nuts. Just an update on like all the local COVID information for midwifery. Everybody wants a home birth. So it's breaking my heart, but I'm having to turn people away daily. It's very, very sad. We are down to just 2 midwives in the area doing home birth, and there's just not enough of us to go around. But the good news is Angie is almost done.
Yay!
She's almost to the end of her.
That is awesome.
Yeah, you're going to start getting the phone calls.
Uh-oh.
No, she's almost to the end of her student era. Got all of her requirements, and I'm super proud of her. I just want you all to know what a good job she's doing and what an awesome midwife she's going to be. But yeah, it's been nuts. We've been doing, like I did 2 births in the last 24 hours. It's just been crazy. But the local update on COVID. So we have 2 ultrasound opportunities now where they will allow dad to come in. Hospitals are still only allowing 1 support person. Once you go in, you're there to stay. You cannot leave and come back. They are allowing us, if we do a transport, to go in, transfer our notes to the doctors, speak with the nurses, get you settled, but then we have to leave also, which stinks. But so that's the local thing that's going on. It seems like we've had a rush on baby boys lately.
Yeah, it's been the boy streak.
I don't know. I'm like, God's building an army or something.
I thought there was like 5 girls for every boy.
Not in our practice.
Not lately.
It's like 10 boys for every 1 girl. We had a girl last night.
Woohoo!
We had a
Represent.
girl. No kidding. So how close are you to being done?
I think everyone would like to know the answer to that, including me.
Come on. You know
Well,
how
I
close you are.
told my kids last night that I think it's time to start measuring in months instead of years. So
Woohoo!
that's it's exciting. It's kind of surreal, but you know, it's exciting. It's what we've been working for.
Actually,
so.
reminds me, Angie is 99% perfect in midwifery.
Oh
There's
my
just
goodness.
this one thing. She can't seem to be on time very often. So just being funny, I pulled out the Hello Kitty stickers the other day, and I go, Angie, you were on time. You get a sticker on your calendar. So tell him what Ari said.
I got home that night and I'm flipping through my calendar to write something down, and my 4-year-old immediately stops me and she goes, turn back to that page. You know, what is that? And she goes, Mom, what's that? And I said, I got a sticker for being on time.
I got a sticker.
You were on time?
Stop. Every once in a while it happens.
So let's tell them about some of the crazy births we've been doing since we talked to him last. Thinking of one that, why don't you tell this one? So Angie was main midwife. this mama was struggling. She was having a long one. Go
Yeah.
ahead, tell us.
Yeah, she was super tired. They had maybe done a little bit more that day than they should have, just activity wise and in the heat and everything. And so she was tired. She was going on, 19 hours of being up and laboring at this point.
Rough.
And she was getting towards the end of her rope. But she was working really hard and, struggling to cope really well.
Yeah, and still hanging in there.
But yeah, just,
Strong
looking
mama.
from the outside, like, wow, this is really intense. She's got to be nearing the end. And we check her and she was still 3 centimeters. And so we kind of looked at each other and just went, oh boy.
As midwives, you're like, this is not good.
This is not going well.
Ruh-roh.
Like, we just didn't know if she was going to be able to last. And so we kind of had this serious talk with them about, if something doesn't turn a corner, we're going to have to maybe think about going in. And we all went and took a second and prayed and, asked for wisdom. Well, it was incredible because within less than an hour, she was 5 centimeters, which was huge progress comparatively, percentage-wise to what she'd done so far. And then the baby was out
Was
within...
it like an hour and 5 minutes after that?
I think total it was about an hour and a half from
It was
5
crazy.
to baby out. And so it was amazing just to see that answered prayer and just to see, the power of birth, because we talk about that, how the beauty of home birth is it's not on a timeline.
Right, and people get it in their head that it's like this has to happen then and this and this and this at, at a certain interval, and if it doesn't, something's wrong. But this baby just needed to turn. It just needed time to turn.
Yeah, and I think we've seen a lot of those, like you were saying recently, where I think if we had been in the hospital, it would have been a very different outcome. And we were kind of getting to those borderline places that you don't really want to be at, but then having that faith in the process and giving it that last little effort has been able to, people have been able to see it over the finish line.
As long as mom is doing well and as long as baby's doing well, then we're comfortable being at home. But as soon as one of you's not looking like you're so good anymore, we're out of there.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It always blows my mind how each person is so different. So just recently we had a mom that was putzing in labor for days, but not doing anything. When she decided to have that baby, I barely got there.
Yeah.
So you just don't know. Everybody's different. And it reminds me of the mom that I actually took somebody else to the birth with me because we have a new student that is coming to help us and get going because Angie's on her way out. So she went to a birth with me. And it was interesting. This mama was just also getting tired. It had been a long labor. She's working hard, doing great. And all of a sudden she looks at us and she goes, "Tell me I can do this." And we're like, "You can do this." And she yells, "I can do this."
I love it.
It's great.
And then she says, "Come on, keep going." And we said, "You're so strong." And she's like, "I'm so strong." It was great. So
I love
everybody's different, And then you get the mama that just wants you to hold her hand. And she's just quiet and relaxed. Tell them about the birth where we were downstairs making tea.
Oh, yeah. That was another one that, it was just a slow start. And it had been like 3 centimeters and then 5. And you were still even debating calling me to come because it was just
it wasn't regular.
putzing
It
along,
was
doing its thing.
Yeah.
And so we get there and we go up. But Mom was finally in a better rhythm at this point. She was in the tub coping. And
Had just gotten in the tub, too.
yeah, she
hadn't
just
been
got
there
in the
long.
tub right when I got there. And so we just kind of checked in with her and Dad, and they were in a good rhythm. So we went downstairs to make the tea and finish, setting a few things up. And it had been a while, like, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. So I was going to go back up and,
ready
get
to
heart
listen to
tones
baby
again.
right?
And halfway up the stairs, we hear this, and walk up
We're
there.
like,
And she's like,
"Oh."
I'm pushing. And so, I better get some
I'm
gloves
pushing.
on. So quick, put these gloves on. And she had a baby. And it was like 5 centimeters to baby out, just like that.
It was crazy.
So,
it was crazy.
You never
Awesome.
know what's going to happen.
You don't. And people ask me, well, how far along do you think I am? How much longer do you think it'll be? Do
Yeah.
you think how many more pushes till this baby's head's out? And I'm like, I could guess, but I'll probably be wrong because everybody's so different. We had a kind of a comical birth. I had a mom that, again, putzing in labor because you get these babies, especially since COVID happened. I think people are just at home chilling more, and they're not having real good posture when they're sitting. So we're getting more posterior babies whose backs are turned towards mama's backs, and they just seem to be putzier labors. Or we're getting these babies with their hands up by their head.
Yeah.
And so that makes kind of a putzy start. Where did that word putzy come from?
I know we've used that
don't know.
12 times already.
Is that like dervish?
Yeah, dervish.
We're gonna have to look it up to find out what
motate,
putsy. Yeah.
You know, whatever. What was that word you came up with the other day? We were dying.
Didactic.
Okay.
Oh
she
my
couldn't-
gosh, that's
she
not
couldn't
even. Yeah.
just
It's a
say-
thing.
She couldn't just say her textbook studies.
I've just always called that your
Didactic.
didactic learning. It's your
Yeah, but it
book
was
learning.
in a sentence. That's what was
With about
amazing.
10 other
And we
crazy
both just
things.
kind of looked at each other. Shannon and I went, "Go, okay, so obviously this is above our head."
bust out laughing. We laughed about it later that night and the next day too.
Yeah.
Anyways, this gal was putzing. So I can't remember how many centimeters she was, but she was in active labor and she was just trying to distract herself and be active. So I'm doing something in the kitchen and I look back. She's in the backyard playing horse, shooting baskets with her husband. I'm like, okay. She
I
kind of
love it.
stop for a second, have her contraction, shoot another
That's
basket.
fun.
Like whatever works for you. And she was another one that once that baby turned, boom, we were we were done. We have some beautiful, like, just sort of surreal births. They're just so gentle and sweet and precious moments. And we've probably mentioned this before, but remember the birth with the little boy that wanted to watch his baby be born?
Yeah. I think we talked
Yeah.
about that last season, but that was one I'll keep revisiting because it was a picture perfect moment of this baby floating in the water and, you know, how old was he? 7, 8-year-old brother.
Oh, 6, I think.
Is he only 6?
Yeah.
Oh, well, anyways,
He was only 6.
looking at, you know, his little baby sibling floating in this tub with just this absolute pure amazement on his face. And to get to be there kind of in between those, looking at him going, wow, that was just the coolest moment. And so peaceful. I mean,
And then
mom was quiet
He
and
covers his eyes and just starts sobbing because he's so happy.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
just so happy.
incredible.
And during labor, he's bringing his mom cold washcloths and patting her face
Yeah.
and saying, "Mom, you're okay.
Yeah.
You're okay, Mom."
Doing a
It
good
was
job.
so sweet. There's just a lot of births we could talk about, but
Well, that kid story sounds like a perfect segue to our new segment.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about our segments.
yeah.
So, what is our new segment
Take it
going to be?
away.
So we are going to sneak in some clips this season. We're going to do things kids say.
Woo!
Do we even have a sample of that already?
Oh, yeah, we're ready.
Let's do
yeah.
it.
Here we go.
What do you think about getting a new baby at your house?
I don't know.
Is it going to be fun?
Yeah.
Are you going to get a baby brother or a baby sister?
Sister.
How do you know?
Because
Because why?
because I want one.
And that makes it come out a baby sister?
Yeah.
Perfect. That's going to be fun.
Ooh, I love it.
So the plan is anybody who's willing. So if you're listening to this and you'd like to be a part of this, let us know. We're just going to have you sign a release waiver to do a quick video clip of the cute things your kids say about mama's bump on her belly or their new baby or
Or the embarrassing things.
Yeah,
they
the embarrassing
say about your-
things.
Your birth or whatever.
yeah, like the placenta instead of the placenta. The
That's
placenta came
hilarious.
out. Or the little girl that said, "We're going to go see the midwife."
Oh, cute.
What is a mudwife?
Apparently a midwife.
That's hilarious.
So we're going to do those clips. We're also going to have dad moments where we're going to just do some clips of dads telling us their thoughts about the birth or the pregnancy or their newborn baby, and that's going to be like a real precious moment.
Yeah.
And then Angie, We're going to do student moments. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's going to be called Student Corner, and it's going to focus more on the midwifery student aspect of things.
Cool.
Hopefully, other midwifery students can benefit from it. Maybe people that don't necessarily have kids, or they're not tuning into the podcast,
Right.
for the baby and parent
Right.
stuff, but hopefully they'll be able to benefit from the
Sounds
student aspect.
Fun.
Yeah,
Sounds fun.
it's kind of crazy.
You
It's
probably have some ideas for it already, I imagine.
yeah, and I hope that people just be able to kind of go along on that journey with us and with me, taking those last steps and really making it real and cementing. I mean, some of the last steps, the things that are left to do, are the hardest and the most scary. And
Well, and they're the things you've probably put off because they're intimidating.
Exactly.
Right? Or you know what? There's so many things that we can't actually do because as home birth midwives,
Yeah.
we don't do invasive things, although
Yep.
you have to know how to do them.
right.
So they have to be practiced on models, or we have to just talk through it so we know the steps.
Right, because we're
So-
not going to impose some of these things on people
Right.
just for the sake of,
Right.
practicing.
Right. We're not going to.
So we have to.
But there's a lot of things to practice.
Oh yeah,
There
there's
are.
a few more things
There
that
are.
I have to check off, and
Right.
so anyways, the student corner will just be a chance to glimpse in on my journey and my struggle
It'll be
to
fun.
Shannon's struggle to birth the midwife
Yeah,
in
this
me.
girl is so confident, but there's been a couple things I'm like, pull up your big girl panties and
Wow.
just do it. You're not getting out of this.
Yeah, but we
So
all have
sometimes-
areas, right? You have areas that you struggled
Hey,
in.
I botched a blood draw the other day after 15 years because I felt intimidated because I was doing a blood draw on a nurse
Wow.
in my own
happens.
office. And, her vein rolled. So there's me because I let myself get intimidated for whatever reason. So
Yeah.
it's not just students.
Yeah.
Not just students.
Thank you.
You should feel better.
Yes.
So, did we talk about our dad moments?
Yeah. So we talked about having the dads on
Okay.
the podcast.
Let's talk about our next guest.
All right, sounds good. Who is it? You should introduce her. You have the honor.
Dr. Virginia Frazier, lovingly known as Ginger. She is a naturopathic physician and retired midwife. She was actually one of the main preceptors for me as a midwife,
Yeah.
which was awesome because as a naturopathic physician, I got to learn all the behind the scenes herbal concoctions, homeopathic remedies. So
That's
we're
so
having
cool.
her come on our next podcast. She's going to talk about that first year with your baby and natural remedies for common ailments, teething, tummy trouble, sleep, just all the things that, we feel like we need to help our babies out, but we don't want to do anything invasive.
And she is a lot of fun.
I love
She's
it.
a load
yeah.
of fun. I could tell some stories about Ginger.
Uh-oh.
Let's hear one.
So the first thing I remember is as a new student, we would hop in the car and go to these births, middle of the night, Yakima, Grandview, places like that. And here we are, we're going down the road and Ginger and I are talking and Ginger talks and she gets more and more and more excited. And pretty soon her foot gets more and more lead on the pedal and I'll look over and she's doing 80. And I'm like, Ginger, you're doing the Indy 500. And she'd laugh. So it became the joke. It was the Gingy 500.
The Gingy
So for her
500.
birthday, I had this little keychain made for her that said Gingy 500. So
I love it.
It's been the joke all these years. So I've known Ginger now for, 19 years.
Wow.
19 years, yeah. I learned a lot from her about natural medicine. So I'm super excited for her to share with our guests what they can do
Oh
for
yeah.
their infants at home. So another story I remember, when you're first a student, you're a grunt. I mean, basically you're the setup, cleanup,
Yeah.
and gopher. I was that. And we were at a birth. And for a split second there, that when that baby was born, that cord just snapped. That baby flew out so fast. And, we grabbed it, of course. All was fine. But for that split second, this cord is just going like a high-power garden hose. It hit the ceiling and the wall and the
Is
curtains.
this blood we're talking about?
This is blood we're talking about. But everything was fine.
Take a
Okay.
deep breath.
Everybody
Keith.
was
It
good.
doesn't sound fine. Okay, in
But
and
the
out.
thought running through my head was great. I know who's going to get to clean this up. So seriously, I'm up on a chair with
Wow.
rags and spray cleaner, cleaning the ceiling, the wall, washing the curtains. So there's a lot of fun stories I could tell about Ginger, but we'll leave some of that for when she comes because she's just loads of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we have a super fun one coming up where we are going to literally dig the bags out and take everything out and show you all the crazy stuff we carry with us to a birth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
It's called What's in the Bag. Really excited about it. It'll be like a fun unboxing. And we're going to just walk through piece by piece. Unbagging. It'll, walk through piece by piece all the fun natural things that are in there, the medical things,
Yep.
what we use each thing for, the little, special things Shannon carries, like instant ground coffee and
Ask me what I do with instant ground coffee. It's very handy.
what special thing do you do with
Is
instant
it like a
ground
medical
coffee?
secret
Thank
or
you.
something?
It is.
It can be. So mainly it's for the midwife to keep her awake when she's been up for 24 hours. And it's a
Very special.
quick, easy. Yes, it's not the best coffee in the world, but you can make it really strong, really fast. You can make it iced. You can make it hot. And it's a great thing to add.
You could make it in a pot.
You can take a pinch and put it
Stop.
under your tongue.
Stop.
You
No,
shouldn't
but you
drink
know
it
what?
because you're too young.
Oh, stop it. But really, one of the good things that we have used it for, if we've got a mom that's been laboring a long time and she's just really tired and she's needing some energy to
Yeah.
push, a teaspoon of that instant coffee and some chocolate milk or a protein drink is really a big boost for her energy.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we do all kinds of things with it.
So you're going to do like an unboxing right here on the table?
Yeah, I'm going to bring out my instant coffee. We're
That's
going to
awesome.
show you our instruments, our homeopathics, our herbal remedies.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
There's some weird stuff in our birth bag.
Yeah, there is. And honestly, these bags are like Mary Poppins bags. You
Oh,
would
yeah.
not believe how much stuff
Oh,
goes
yeah.
in there.
Didn't she pull like a rowboat out
It
of her
just
bag?
keeps coming.
No,
I
it
kid you
does.
not.
So that'll be really fun. Tune in for that one.
Yeah, I mean, we've warned you that when we come, it looks like we're moving in. So, yeah.
It's true.
What else are we doing? We're doing a kid moment. We're doing a student moment, a dad moment.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Ginger coming. We've got an unbagging. Oh, we're going to have our husbands.
Yeah.
Our husbands.
Really excited
That's
about
gonna
that.
be scary.
Why?
I'm looking at you because I know they're going to tell stories on us.
Oh, I'm
It
sure.
could be very
It's
embarrassing.
coming.
No, we're not going to embarrass you.
So, from your perspective, Keith, what do you envision this podcast?
Well, I just think it's
looking
going to
like?
be great because the ladies can invite their husbands if they'd like to know what it's like to be the husband behind the scenes when your wife is a midwife or the whole birth process. I mean, we've done it in the hospital.
Yeah.
We've done it at
Birth
home.
center.
We have a lot in common. The other guy is Johnny, the man behind the
The
scenes.
infamous Johnny behind the Angie.
And actually, it's going to be exciting to be, so if you have any questions, please get a hold of Shannon. How can they send
You
a
can
question?
go to the website, nc-midwifery.com, and just email us if you've got questions about how it all works. This is going to be a great segment to refer dads to who come in for a consult and
Yeah.
they're like, I don't know about this whole
Yeah.
home birth thing. So
Yeah. And the thing I was thinking of too, we've been talking so much about how we need more midwives in this area.
Yes.
And it's such a big step for a family to make, a mom, a wife. She's already got her hands so full. How could you possibly fit in this on-call lifestyle?
Yes.
But, Johnny is living it. Keith has lived it. They've made it work. We have small kids at home. And so I think just to hear from the dads, because I think moms are willing. They're like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I'll make it work. I'll fix,
And your story is so different from mine at this point in our life. I mean, I was where
Yeah.
you are at now, but now I'm pretty free, and so it's very different.
Right. And so it's hard for families to imagine making that jump. But,
What in the world is that?
That's our time to shut
that
up and
means
move
it's
on.
time to.
Okay, guys, I think we're done with this segment. So the alarm says.
Right.
We will see you next time. Send those emails in, and glad to have you.
Thanks for coming.
Well, thanks for joining us for Season 2, Episode 1 of More About Birth. Don't forget the next 2 episodes, we have Dr. Virginia Fraser joining us to talk about the first year, as well as episode 3 will be What's in the Bag. So join us for those episodes. We hope to see you there. Check out our YouTube channel and the audio on many podcast locations. Until then, this podcast is intended for educational purposes only. For more information and our full disclosure, please visit ncmidwifery.com and our podcast page.